Hey everyone, this is a special treat today. So we're sitting here with Jenna Cristo, and the reason we're here is because a couple months back, I had a healing session with Jen, and it was pretty transformative, right? I don't know what Jen titles herself as, but I call her a shaman. And if you're like, what is a shaman? What does a shaman look like? Aren't they supposed to have, this certain look and this kind of smell? And well, right? Aren't they supposed to be out in nature in a circle with a fire? And maybe there are some that do that. But I just wanted to bring Jen on so she could talk to you a little bit about what she does, how she does it. All I can share is my experience with her was almost like bringing my higher self or my soul back into my body when I felt I was in a really hard place in my life. So if in any way this serves you, reach out to her. But first, let's hear a little bit about what she does. So Jen, thanks for chatting with me today.
Oh, Faisal, thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, so sweet.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah, of
Thank
course,
you.
from the bottom of my heart. And just, how would you describe what you do? Like, what is it? Because I'm having a hard time describing because it was an experience for me, right?
Yeah, great question. So part of it is the sound healing, which is that the bowls are tuned to a certain frequency. And so it's not really the sound, it's the frequency that interacts with us. And when you think about frequency as a healing medium, it accesses the brain states so that it can bring your brain into what's called entrainment, which is it brings you into a certain mind state based on the frequency.
The bowls do.
Yes, and then that brings you into a suggestive state where a guided meditation can be really powerful and effective because the brain is then open to whatever suggestion is coming in. And I usually tailor that to my clients' needs at the time, whatever it is, if they need to let go of something, if they need to call something in, or if they just want more peace and more space for more grace to enter. And then I do a sacral cranial massage, which can be really healing.
Oh,
Because
that was my favorite.
Yeah, well, we're human beings. We need touch, and we don't get enough of it, right? We don't get enough of it. So part of it is just the feeling of being like taken care of and having someone care for you and treat you like you're precious and cared for. And then the other, scientific aspect of that is the release of muscle tension and buildup in the body that we're experiencing so much stress as a collective and as individuals right now. So anything that we can do to relieve that stress and get out of this 3D reality, right, and this physical matter reality that's causing all the stress, and sort of access the inner world where we're empty, we're an empty vessel, we're at peace, and we're tuning in with our true nature, which is one of like joy and excitement. And that's really what we are as beings. And it's everything else that's sort of interfering with that.
Right? I like that you said that. So I always say to people, we're like multidimensional, right? Like we were at some point in existence before this body, and we'll be in existence after this body, right? And it's not just the physical body. And so when we're looking at making things better, we're often just looking at like just this, the here, the right now.
Right.
Well, what about the spirit? What about the emotions, right? What about, there's so many factors, right?
Yeah.
And I like that you said that. I really like that you said that. So,
and what you're saying really resonates with me as well, because it's this idea that we can try to change external things, but it always comes back to us. It always comes back to us, and it always comes back to energy.
Yes.
Energy is everything. So a lot of times we might spend years of trying to correct something, try to break a habit, try to understand something, try to release something, try to deal with a trigger. But if we can shift energetically, then we no longer have that trigger or that habit because it literally doesn't exist inside of our physical vessel anymore. And so this is part of what this work is, and then part of it is the guided energy medicine, which is very extreme, a Reiki, I guess you could call it, where it's just a calling upon the energy of source to flow through and to heal and to bring whatever it is that is for the highest and best for that person in that moment, so that they can be reminded of their like divine I am presence, right? And come back to themselves, come home to themselves, where they can be at peace.
That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like coming home to myself. I have this question. Sometimes people ask me, Jen, and they say like, well, do you believe in energy? And I'm like, how the fuck do you even, like, do I believe in it?
Describe this energy.
I'm like, yeah, like, so if someone's watching this right now and they're like, well, I don't know if I believe in energy. Like I don't know if what would you say to that?
Well, Einstein said energy is everything. And, if you want to look at the science behind this, you can fall upon the science and its, solid backing, which is that the brainwave states, if you come down into a theta brainwave state, you're going to be more relaxed. If you get your parasympathetic nervous system drop down in, you're going to be able to heal.
Right.
And so this is the science, which is you can
correct.
fall on that, even if you don't believe
yes.
in source, if you don't believe in a higher power, if
yes.
you don't believe in any of that, the science
correct.
still backs up, the techniques that are used in conjunction with each other to create an effect.
So we know that we can literally study your genetics and your cells and see your T cells, your the ones that fight viruses and so on and so forth, and bacteria, your immune system, get stronger under like love, emotions
yes.
of love, peace, and freedom. And we know the exact opposite can happen. You can weaken your immune system
Absolutely.
with things like hate, with things like jealousy, and so on and so
yes.
forth, right?
Absolutely.
So this is kind of the way I would describe it, as like, well, it was a feeling of love, like you were being nurtured. So
yeah, and
if someone comes in, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh, it's okay. And when we think about that, it's like dis-ease in the body and in the mind. This uncomfortable feeling is what causes disease.
Yes.
And that's sort of like the bigger.
Literally spells that.
Yeah.
Disease, not at ease.
Causes
yeah.
disease, exactly.
Yeah.
So the bigger picture of all of this is that, yes, you might have a really relaxing session where you leave and you feel like, oh, I feel more at peace and I feel calm, but this is going to expand into all other areas of your life where all of a sudden you're calmer. You can have better communication. You can have direct communication. You feel more aligned with your authentic self. So then you make better choices and you're at
yes.
center, and then time slows down because you're not rushing and full of fear. So all these other aspects come into play afterwards that affect your life in a positive way when you practice this type of self-care.
That's a good way of saying it. So if someone's like, well, okay, so I'm watching this Faisal, hey, thanks for bringing her on, but if I was to contact Jen for a session, what am I expect? Like, walk me through in like 3, 4, 5 steps, if that works
sure.
for the way you do your work,
yeah.
of what to expect. So upon walking into the room, right, like what happens? Like, they lay on, there's a table right here. It's a beautiful room, by the way. They lay on the table right here. You tell them to relax.
Yeah, great question. Usually I start just by a short conversation where I just kind of feel into wherever the client is at that moment in their life and whatever their needs are. And then we usually set an intention for the session, or if they don't have an intention, then they're just open to whatever is going to come up during the session. And then, usually they lay down on a massage table, and I start by tucking them in and just making sure they're comfortable. And then we access the physical body with breath work first, usually, just because people are usually rushing and they're tense. Then we have to release this tension from the physical body, from the mind, in order to come home and to get into that state where we're open in the first place. Yeah, intention, breath work. And then usually I'll say a prayer or offer something that opens the portal to this healing container that we're creating together, because it's really together that I'm doing it with the clients, right? It's not me doing something or them doing something. It's that we're working together and we're actually accessing like source and their higher self in order to achieve a result.
I like that. And I remember, just to kind of touch base on that, like, you called in my ancestors when we're working together, right? My guides and all these different elements, right? So the natives used to really revere their ancestors, and I think we should too, right? It's in our lineage and so on and so forth. So I like that you did that.
Yeah, there's so much that can be a remembrance when it's called in, and that's all it really is all this wisdom is inside of us, and all we have to do is remember it. We're not learning anything new. It's everything, like all of our ancestors at one point were practicing shamanism. right? All of our ancestors were. And so it's a remembrance. So yeah, usually just to check in, and then some breath work, and then maybe put some crystals on their body, which sort of grounds you down into your body because of the weight of it, and also the other elements that it brings in. And then some sound healing, which gets the brainwave into the theta brainwave state, where it's open to suggestion, and then a guided meditation that's tailored to the client, whatever they're going through at that time, and then sacrocranial massage.
So it's targeted based on their intention, what they want out of the session. It's kind of targeted towards what they're trying to overcome or work through, or...
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And then just a calling in of source, and then the guided energy medicine, which is similar to Reiki, is just sort of a calling in of energy, of welcoming in whatever healing or release of unconscious beliefs needs to happen on a cellular, emotional, mental, spiritual level for this being. And then and that's part of it. And then I usually use some aromatherapy at the same time, because smell is very important.
Oh my God.
Yeah, smell is really, really important. It like dictates who we're attracted to. You actually can smell like situations or people to either avoid or go towards, right? Because we're all, we're animals in a certain way, right? We're very evolved,
but we congested.
Still have, yeah. But we still have the reptile brain that's dictating a lot of our behavior. So yeah, I use aromatherapy, and then I just kind of feel into the session, and I use different gongs and chimes and things that sort of, it's interesting. I have a set of chimes that I use, and when I go over the body and I do it near an injury, it makes a different sound. It's very high pitched, and it's almost like the sound is tuned with the body, and it knows, because
it's
everything.
In the field.
Yes,
the injury's in the field.
Yes, exactly.
Even based on the work I do, it starts in the field and works its way into the body.
Yes, exactly. So all of this information is in the ether, right? It's floating around, and it's accessible at any time. And so it's just sort of a concentrated effort of bringing that in and through for the service of the client.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it is truly a blessing to be of service to people, because that really is the point of this lifetime, is to expand your consciousness and to keep opening your heart and to find where you can be of service to others and to humanity, because that's all that you really have at the end of this life, right? We didn't come here to stay. We're only here for a short period of time.
Speaking my language. So if someone says, look, you've been doing this work a while, right? And you have, and I've been doing the work I've been doing for a while, but someone said to you, hey, what's like the greatest takeaway from everything you've learned? If you were to give people watching like some advice about where they are in their life, or what's helped you through the hardest time in your life, what would that be? What would, like, here, this is my like nugget, my words of wisdom for you?
Great question. Yeah, I guess for me it would be just always returning to love, because we are love, and we came here to experience unconditional love, and to be an expression of consciousness and the universe experiencing itself. And when you look at it like that, then you can view your life as this abstract adventure that you get to choose, because you powerfully can create your own reality, because everything is your creation, because it all starts in your mind. So just a continual returning to love and an opening of the heart space, and just, this is what the world needs right now. You know, the way that the collective is right now is we need more love, we need more openness, more communication, more acceptance, more understanding, more gratitude. So just a return to all of those things continually.
Less extremes, yes.
And then what will happen is that whatever is supposed to happen for your highest and best will always happen when you're coming from your authentic heart space. And then this world can be like an Eden, right? Like there's really no heaven or hell. It's actually just whatever we're making of this life.
Whatever's happening in here is going to happen out there.
Yes.
It is, you know, if you're in this place of peace and love, it's going to be radiated back to you. And if you're in this place of anger and everything's wrong, and the people out there are bad, and
you're going to find all the bad people you can imagine. If you think that this world is not trustworthy, if you think this world is not trustworthy, it won't be. And really what we need to do is trust ourselves, know ourselves.
Trust ourselves. Yes. Oh my God. So I feel we can go on for a long time. And I told myself we're gonna keep it short, because I just want like the essence of what it is that you do to be shared with others.
Yeah, that's
really.
Perfect.
To me, it was that's what this was all about. So hey, thanks for chatting with me. And if people want to get a hold of you.
It was a pleasure, Faisal. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, my Instagram handle is jenangel999, or you can email me at jengen6@comcast.net.
Perfect.
And yeah,
Great.
I would be honored to be of service to anyone who feels that this would be beneficial for them.
Great. Oh,
And it's
thanks, Jen.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys, for
Faisal.
watching. Appreciate you, and hope you got something out of this. Yeah?